Hello! Welcome back to the Wrestling Newsroom. I'm your host, All Things Wrestling, and today we're going to be looking at all the wrestling news from Wednesday. We start with the verdict in the CM Punk trial. After a 2-hour deliberation, the jury in the CM Punk Dr. Chris Amann trial reached a verdict on Tuesday afternoon. The jury found in favour of CM Punk and Colt Cabana, which means neither will have to pay Amann anything. Amann's lawyer had asked for $3,989,000 in compensatory damages. It has been noted that if the jury found in favour of Punk Cabana, it would be considered a moral victory. With that being said, CM Punk did have an interview after with Nick Huseman of WrestleZone.com. Punk said that the victory is a gigantic weight lifted off his shoulders. He said that he was happy for his friend Cabana, who was dragged into this for silly reasons. Regarding the UFC fight, he said that he'd still been training twice a day and the trial made it have to fit everything in a different order, but he managed to make it work. And when he was asked if he was all in, he just went, "I'm not." So yes, we finally got an end to this near 4-year silly trial. It was ridiculous in the first place, but we've got the winner. And then I'd say, from what has happened and what I could see, common sense prevailed. That CM Punk did look to have what he claimed. I mean, even then, he was trying to claim for nearly $4 million in compensation damage for a few things on the podcast. But yeah, we're finally finished. CM Punk can move on with his life. Hopefully a WWE return. But yes, thank God this is finally over. We then move to Kane being asked if being elected mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee would mean the end of his wrestling career. He said, "I never rule anything out. I think it'd be great to have a pay-per-view here in Knoxville. We haven't had one in forever. If there was a pay-per-view, it would be an honour for me to take part in that." Absolutely amazing. And the other day, Austin Aries, on the anniversary of his match against Neville at Extreme Rules, said to him, "And life was never the same. Dejected and almost abused at my repeat failure, who had known this moment here would be catalyst for so much future success. And to my victorious opponent, I'd love to do it again. Shackles off whenever you're done serving your time." I'd love to see them wrestle again somewhere. Speaking of Austin Aries, he has now merged the Impact World and Grand Championship together to make one undisputed champion. Fantastic. And now the referees are all in. Have been announced are Paul Turner, Rick Knox, Todd Sinclair, the legendary Earl Hebner, and Jerry Lynn. An absolutely star-studded referee count right there. Cannot wait to see All In if I get to see it. Then we have a bit of reason why Baron Corbin's the new Constable of Raw. Dave Meltzer said, "I guess the idea is they got no one to feud with him, so this is a way to keep him in the spotlight feuding with Kurt, and they started that out." But yeah, more authority figures. I know, but we'll have to wait and see where it goes. WrestleVotes also had things to say on it. They said, "Where will it lead? People are afraid of a match for Kurt versus him at SummerSlam. I haven't heard that and doubt it happens. However, it wouldn't surprise if this tied in with a return to Jason Jordan somehow." I didn't think of that. That could make sense. Then we have a Jack Swagger update, or Jack Hager now. He is going to be appearing on Lucha Underground in 1 week, 2 weeks. Whenever this airs, 3 weeks, 13th of June. I think it's going to be great. I don't see any problem doing Lucha Underground and Bellator. Hopefully we'll shoot another season of Lucha this year so we can put it out next year. That's what Lee Walker III of Ringside Wrestling News said. And that's what Jack Swagger also said. So we'll have to see how he is in Lucha Underground. Best of luck, Jack Swagger. I always thought he was a bit bland, but he did get pushed too early, so... And then we have XFL news. it's been announced that former NFL and NCAA executive and quarterback Oliver Luck has now been announced as the commissioner and CEO of XFL. So, congratulations. I don't have a clue who he is, but he's now in charge. Then this week's Total Ballers did good, featuring the breakup. Sorry, I'm literally quoting what it says here. It does say the word breakup in commas of Johnson and Ballard. It did 654,000 viewers, which was massively up from 505,000 viewers last week. See, you get your ratings there, guys. Then we move on to Shawn Michaels open to doing one more match. He said, "I would have done the right, it would have been done the right way in just one match rather than something that ran for longer. It could be a possible, but people would have to accept they wouldn't be getting the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan would be good, and there are guys in NXT too. Someone like Johnny Gargano would be fantastic." Obviously, he almost came out of retirement last year to face AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble, but it never happened, unfortunately. We'll have to wait and see. I don't personally, as a massive Shawn Michaels fan, as him being my #1 wrestler of all time, I don't want to see him wrestle again and ruin him, because he ended on the best way possible, so I think just leave it there. Then it was announced during last night's 205 Live that indie star and recent NXT signee Lio Rush will be debuting on 205 Live. He commented saying, "I've been in the back planning the perfect attack. 205 Live is mine. Tickety tockety. # man of the hour." So we'll have to wait and see what Lio Rush can do after he massively blundered it with Emma leaving, which managed to get him a bit of heat. So we'll have to wait and see. Then former WWE star Brian Christopher, son of Jerry Lawler, was arrested yesterday in Memphis, Tennessee. According to Fox13Memphis.com, Christopher was staying at a hotel and his company credit card did not have enough funds to make payment. The hotel manager reportedly flagged down police and notified them that Christopher and another man had stayed at the hotel without paying. The suspects allegedly told the police that they didn't have the $802 to pay for the room, and they were booked for theft of service of less than $1,000. In his mugshot, he is smiling like a bellend. We'll have to wait and see where this goes. I'll keep you informed, but Jerry is not going to be impressed, is he? Then it's been announced that Impact Wrestling will now be booked on the Chris Jericho cruise. Damn, that cruise is getting hyped. And then we move on to the news that The Undertaker will return to Madison Square Garden for the first time in 8 years at the live event July 7th. Cannot wait to see footage of that. It'll be amazing. Then on the 30th of May, WWE applied to register 2 NWO trademarks, one for wrestling purposes and one for other clothing merchandise purposes. Given that WWE already have an active registered NWO wrestling and clothing trademarks, it's interesting to see the new filings. Yeah, they already have them trademarked, so why have they tried to trademark them again? Interesting. Then we go to just a bit of release news. NXT and Mae Young Classic competitor Zeta has been released from WWE. She was also released at the same time as where is it? Sage Beckett, who she had beat on house shows up until March 3rd, where Sage had beat her, and they've both been released. So it's a sad thing to know that some women with massive potential have been released. We'll have to wait and see. It is the cut-off point now. It is where they're going to start releasing more and more talent that they don't need. Now we go to what you didn't see on SmackDown. After SmackDown Live went off, Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy defeated The Miz and Big Cass. Then Bryan also cut a promo on Big Cass that was an internet exclusive. Daily DDT said, glad that WWE doesn't air Daniel Bryan responses to Cass's insults on TV because he's just so eviscerated Cass here. Now this is a promo. It's 1 minute 31. Here we go, we can just play this.
That you will never survive in a big man's world. What's your reaction to that? It's kind of funny. I'll never survive here. As if I haven't already succeeded here. See, Big Cass thinks he's just a big deal because he's big. And he keeps saying, 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. You know what you can teach? Every single thing that I know. You can teach people the yes lock. You can teach people a heel hook. You can teach people how to kick them in the head so it's shin bone to the dome when your mama ain't home. Okay? But Big Cass, he hasn't learned any of that. Why? Because he's entitled and he's lazy. You think Big Cass had a message for me? Well, guess what? I've got a message for Big Cass. Big Cass, guess what? You said you're going to break my leg in half? You don't even know how. You haven't trained hard enough. You haven't been in the gym hard enough. You don't know how to wrestle hard enough to break my leg in half. Do you know what's going to happen at Money in the Bank? I am going to make you tap out one more time. Whether it's the yes lock, whether it's the heel hook, whether I just knee you in the face and stomp you in the face until you give up. That's what's going to happen at Money in the Bank. And you can't teach surviving.
Wow! That is a fucking promo! To Daniel Bryan, props. That was an amazing promo, actually. I'm impressed. Then we go to our last story, which has just come out. The fallout first from the CM Punk trial. Dave Meltzer talked about how the verdict could affect WWE talent. He said Dr. Chris man admitted giving out Prozac without writing them down. Dave said I will be willing to bet that there will be a memo that comes through to those doctors very quickly that this will never happen again and everything is going to be written down, and I think some of the talent might be unhappy because they're going to have to go through more channels, so it won't be as easy. I sense that because WWE is so conscious right now and about its public image and everything. And then Wrestle Votes noted the following about SummerSlam possibly leaving Brooklyn area after this year's show. Following up my report from a few months back, sources state that it's near certain SummerSlam is moving from Barclays in Brooklyn after this year. WWE would love to host at a stadium, although middle of the summer is tough. Keep an eye out for vacant cities. And that has been the wrestling news. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give this video a like. Please support me on Patreon. Link in the description below. Subscribe to see more content, and I'll catch you later. Bye.